Hey everybody, Steven here, and for today's video I'm going to show you some of the different drills and techniques that I use for helping to strengthen and create intra-abdominal pressure with my clients and with myself personally. Now for this you're going to need a band and then a TheraBand. So this is just a regular loop resistance band, and then I have a TheraBand here. I'll put a link for these two if you don't have these in the description below. This is actually the non-latex TheraBand, which I really like. The latex ones have a tendency to rip really easily just because they get sticky. This one doesn't, which I like that. Now as far as the resistance band right here, I have one of the medium loops. You can actually, this is 30 to 50 pounds. You can get lighter than this if you need. I can also just use my TheraBand here if I wanted to. I have the two set up just to show the difference and to make it a little bit easier between transferring between these two. So it's going to be really simple for everything. You're going to do 8 reps on everything, right? And you're going to do both sides. And what we're trying to do is breathe in through the nose and then fill this cavity right here that we have, right? Our abdomen. A lot of people shoulder breathe, so we want to focus on trying to intra-abdominally breathe, right? Or diaphragmatically breathe, excuse me. It's just the thing that I noticed. We're all shoulder breathing. We're not breathing into the belly like we need to. We're also not doing that when we lift. I mean, this is a cylinder. If I'm looking from my diaphragm down to my pelvic floor, that's a huge cylinder right here. And I want to fill that with air before I do basic things like deadlift, squat, things like that. When I'm doing my crawls, all these other patterns. People only focus on the external part of the abs, right? My abs right here and my obliques. We're not looking at those deep layers to the core, to the stomach here. Your multifidi, right? I consider the QL as part of that as well. And looking at these areas, I want to make sure that I have this very stable before I lift something that's heavy. If I'm lifting something that's heavy, my muscles are contracting in on this, and we're talking about external force on this. I want to fill that with air so that I actually have something pushing back against it. If I'm under load and I don't have that, we have a tendency to put a lot of that tension on joints. We have a lot of tension going more towards our spine, right? We want to make sure that that's filled out so that we can incorporate those muscles and strengthen those muscles that we need to in order to perform those lifts safe and effectively, all right? So, first thing right here, I'm just gonna do standing press with the band. Whatever arm is towards the inside, I put that here. The other one comes on top of it. The amount of resistance that I want, I could move out further if I want. I don't need a ton. Once I'm right here, I'm gonna line this up, elbows in tight, I'm not flaring them out. I'm gonna take a deep breath through my nose. I'm gonna fill all of this with air, right? Now I have all this pressure here, and not just in the front, I want it all the way around, right? Now these are a little bit more advanced, so for some people you might actually have to backtrack and just work on trying to fill this whole thing with air. For that I would look into DNS, which is Dynamic Neuromuscular Stabilization, and all the different drills that they have, right? But once I'm here, deep breath through the nose, I have this completely filled with air. I'm just gonna slowly push out. I'm gonna go straight right here, and then I'm gonna pull back. What I'm feeling is that there's torque across my belly here, right? This band is trying to pull me this way. I'm not rotating, which is forcing this side over here to get really tight and contract to resist that pull. So I'm working on this pocket. Now I'm feeling it everywhere, but specifically I'm feeling more on this pocket, right? Now with this, I'm trying to keep my arms relaxed. Breathe in, push out. I'm not going to completely straighten my arms, and I'm not going to flex my arms because I'm going to detract from this. If you're feeling more in your arms, typically it means that you're flexing your arms, or you've created too much tension. If I'm way out here, my arms have to flex. It's just too much pull, right? You need to scoot in a little bit. Fill this with air. Slowly push. Try and concentrate here. And then back in. Now you're going to do 8 per side. So I would turn around to do that other side for 8 as well, right? So you have that first. We just have that standing band press right there. After that, with the TheraBand here, I'm actually going to come down into a kneeling position, creating the tension that I need, right? Right about here is good for me. I want to be upright. I don't want to have rib flare, which looks like this. I want my back flat, so I bring my ribs down. So now I'm in a line, right? This in a vertical line, that leg as well. Now I should scoot out just a little bit more. Now, once I'm here, I'm just holding this hammer, okay? I'm gonna breathe that pressure there, and I'm gonna slowly push up straight. Now I can feel this is tight. Pause a second, come back down, right? Holding that pressure, pressing up, coming back down, trying to stay as neutral as I can. up, back down. If you can't go all the way up, don't worry about it if you're kind of stuck here, as long as you're feeling this engage and you have that air pushed into that pocket. All right? Same thing, I'm gonna do 8 per side. Slow and controlled. You're not trying to move fast through this, otherwise you're kind of missing the point. Tension over time is what we want. Meaning that I want to actually have that slow press or that slow extension, right? And create that intra-abdominal pressure and maintain it through the whole of the movement, through that space, through that amount of time that I'm needing to do that press or that extension, right? That keeping tight with that pressure is what's working the muscles like we need them to, right? So that's the first 2. You have 8 on each right there. Now we're going to cut over to a dead bug variation that I like to do, and we're going to have to switch the angle for that. So we're going to cut over now. All right, so I've changed angles of the band here just so you can see from the side angle here. Now what I'm going to do here is an advanced technique for dead bugs. With this, I'm just going to hold the band on one side, right? Now the pull is going this way, okay? So I have this inside hand here that's holding on to that. That other one cups on top. Legs come up. I'm in a neutral position right here. And then all I'm going to do is move this opposite leg right here down. My toe's going to tap, and I'm going to come back up. Maintaining a neutral spine, meaning my spine is flush with the ground here, and I'm holding that intra-abdominal pressure. The good news here is you should feel that pressure of that intra-abdominal pressure that you have in your stomach pushing against the ground, so that should be a good cue there. If you're struggling with the top half here, you can put like a plate, like a 10-pound or 5-pound plate on your stomach to help, to give you something to cue, to push against. That always helps as well. Once I'm here, holding here, I have that intra-abdominal pressure. I'm going to bring that leg down, tap, comes back up. I'm going to do 8. Now, that's to start. I'm feeling this pocket. Now I'm feeling all of it, but specifically I'm going to feel more on this pocket. We're training these pockets because we don't want to just always do overall. As you become better at creating intra-abdominal pressure, you'll do unilateral based movements and stuff like that, like we're doing today. You're going to actually require more intra-abdominal pressure on one side. You're going to need to know how to push air into these pockets, these lower pockets right here, so that you can have that pressure, so you can do that movement safe and effectively. All right. Now, that's just an easy one, is the toe tap. If I wanted to go a little bit more advanced, I can do leg extensions. So as I'm here, once I'm here, I can extend out, pull back in. Basic right there. Or I can extend, and I can tap my heel. Big thing here is making sure that you can maintain neutral spine the whole time. If I'm extending my leg out and I have to arch my lower back, right, or do an anterior pelvic tilt and then to just to get to that position, you don't have it. You're going to need to train more, get a little bit stronger so that you don't have to arch the lower back to make that movement happen, okay? Now that's just one side, and I would actually do both for 8 on that as well. So really simple, 8 reps on everything. Make sure you're hitting both sides before you move to the next thing, okay? Starting with those presses right here first with the band, right? Then you'll go into the kneeling position with overhead press, and then you'll do the band dead bug position here with just leg extension. We're not actually going to do the arm moving for this variation right here, okay? Once you do all of that, usually you're only going to do 1 to 2 rounds, okay? You don't have to do more than 1 to 2. I like to use this before I'm going to work on my big lifts. So before deadlifts, right? Before squats, before even bench press, if you're doing bench press, before farmer's carries and all these other movements, powerlifting movements that you could be doing, right? I'm going to do this typically first so that I can tell that it needs to do its job, right? I'm just waking everything up, and it's allowing me neurologically to connect to that area before I go do the movements. That way it's fresh in my mind, right? We're activating that central nervous system with a lot of these contralateral movements, those opposite moving together movements, right? And as I do that, I know I'm better prepped, not only from a safety and kind of like effective standpoint in terms of I know that this is going to do its job so I can perform the movement better, but also just neurologically, I'm more in tune with what I'm doing, right? I know, all right, concentrate, feel this here, that way I can perform that better, right? And you feel the difference between doing a lift without intra-abdominal pressure and doing it with intra-abdominal pressure, right? Sometimes people aren't concentrating on it, so they're doing it without knowing it, which is okay, but we want to be a little bit more in tune with those things. That way, like I said, long term, we're just going to be a lot more safe, and we're going to avoid injuries, right? So that has been some exercises to just kind of help with not only building and strengthening intra-abdominal pressure, but to mix it up. I mean, I see a lot of people doing the kind of same thing, which is awesome. You do want to perform those same things, but at a certain point, let's make some adjustments. Let's kind of challenge the body a little bit with those, all right? So hopefully this helps anybody out there looking for some new things to incorporate into their routine to help strengthen and build intra-abdominal pressure. If you guys like the video, hit the like button for me. If you want to continue to follow along with all the different content that I put out there, whether it's correctives and certain videos like this one, the MoveNat stuff, medical exercise stuff, I mean, I do supplement review stuff as well, then hit the subscribe button for me, and thanks so much for watching.